So the topic is basically how do scientists prepare for exams or something like this, right? How do scientists plan? That's what we are going to learn. And when we say scientists, we are talking about learning scientists, right? People who have been researching about how the brain works, how the brain, develops, and what are the best learning techniques that we have found out which can help you prepare for the exams in a really good way, right? And what are the wrong techniques? More importantly, we should all be aware about what are the wrong techniques that we should be avoiding, right? And that's what we're going to focus on today. So with this, let's quickly begin. And you all know how we like to begin with questions, right? We like to ask a lot of curious questions. That's why the name of the company is Stay Curious. So let's ask our first curious question. I want to know how you folks prepare for your exams. And Avi, you can, go for it.
Yeah, I'm also reading.
Okay, many of you have voted. Yes. So
Hey, some of you lying here. Okay, I know some of you ask your mom. Don't be all cool here. I know. Be truthful.
You have 2 weeks before the exam. How will you prepare for it? You will start 2 days before the exam. I will start revising.
See, after I told someone is there.
Some people have put, I'll ask my mom to help me plan. Every day I'll revise a few chapters of the subject. 30% of people are voting that. Each day I will pick a subject and revise all chapters of it. 33% people are voting that. Each day I will revise some chapters from different subjects. 21% people are voting for us. Nice. Okay. All right. 4% people. I think there is a couple of folks who are like, I will ask my mom to help and just get away with it. I don't want to plan. Let my mom do all the planning for me. All right. Let's close the poll. Yes, Avi. Do you want to tell us how did you prepare for exams?
Yeah, no, I'm going to be honest. I'm not going to be like you guys, okay? I'm going to tell what I did. So my answer was the first one. So I always used to wait to the last date. One, because it's not just because I thought it would be fresh in my memory, it's also because I was lazy. I just couldn't do it before. I also thought, for some reason, I thought I was an expert at, hey, you know what, I'll wait in the last minute. No matter what, I'll be able to finish. I've always done it before, so I'll just do it in the last date. And I also thought that, hey, because I did just one day before, it'll be easier on my memory during the exams and so on. Right? That would be my answer. Should we ask someone else?
Anybody?
Sachnoor, I think.
Sachnoor. Yes.
Sachnoor, we're going to put you on
Sachnoor,
stage.
you can unmute and you can tell us how do you plan?
Wait.
And my exams are going on. So before the class, I was studying maths.
Okay. All right.
And after the class, I'll study English. So each day I take a subject and study one chapter from each subject. So I maintain the balance between each subject. And I also don't get bored while studying.
Nice.
Because sometimes when you choose only one subject, you sleep.
That's actually a really good answer. It's a really good answer. So, yes. So the first option, right, where it said that, hey, just 2 days before the exam. I think many of us have done that. I mean, like, I'll be fair and honest over here. I have done that. I will not study till the 1 or 2 days before the exam. I'm like, hey, there are 7 days before the exam. Let me go ahead and play some video games and come back, and then I'll kind of begin studying later on. And that has always been a problem. I always kept on procrastinating, and just 2 days before the exam, I'll be like, hey, there's so much of syllabus. Oh my god, how I'm gonna prepare for all of this? I'll be a lot of headache, right? And somehow I'll try cramming all the subjects. Like, okay, I'll just take the book and keep on reading multiple times, right? So one of the things that you would have already learned at Stay Curious is that rereading, right? Cramming does not help, right? That's not something that is going to improve your memory. It's kind of like makes you or gives you a fake sense that your memory is improving, but it does not, right? The best way to improve memory is where you actually force your memory to remember things, force your brain to remember things. And you can do this multiple ways. You can look at the questions at the back of the book, or you can ask your mom or dad that, hey, can you ask me something from this chapter, right? And that will help you force your memory, and therefore your memory will improve, right? So that's one thing. Second thing, as Sachnoor was talking about, that it's better to pick few subjects in a particular day, right? And then do them in different sessions. Take one session, do one subject, another session, do another subject, another chapter, and keep on going through it, right? That way, yes, Sachnoor, you're absolutely right that you will not be bored by it, right? You'll not be exhausted by just doing math. Oh my God, so much of math, right? Also, the fact that, it helps improve your memory, right? By a principle called spaced repetition, okay? Let me actually show you what I mean. So I'm going to share my screen and I'm going to help you see how you can plan this way. So first step was to do a pre-test and check your current knowledge, come up with weak topics in different subjects, right? Second step is make a plan, a weekly plan applying spaced repetition. For example, on every day you can do a couple of sessions, even 3 sessions if you want to, depending on, some of the students over here might have offs before exams, like 1 week before the exam, the school will give holiday, go ahead, prepare, focus for your exam, and then come back to the exams, right? So if you have full day available, you can have 2-3 sessions over here. And in each session, you can note down that, hey, Monday, first session, I'm going to practice maths. And I'm going to practice the topic of, let's say, algebra in maths, right? Second session will be on, let's say, history. And the topic will be something else, right? And then you can keep on going through different topics, different subjects on each day, right? So one way how this improves your memory and how this makes it fun is that because of spaced repetition, right? You do something on Monday, okay? And then on Wednesday, you bring it back. You try to check your understanding. Do you still remember it, right? And the reason why we do this, right? Let me actually show you something called as forgetting curve. How your memory actually works. Let's say you learn something on day number 1, or you learn something today, right? And since you just learned it, your memory of that concept is going to be 100%, right? You remember everything, you just have learned it. On the first day itself, your memory drops to 50%. That means just after 1 day, you have forgotten half of the things. After 2 days, 3 days, 4 days, your memory has gone completely to like 20%. You barely remember anything. So imagine Monday, you practice maths completely, let's say, right? And then you're not coming back to maths or not coming back to that chapter in the whole week. By the end of the week, you will have literally very little idea about what you learned, what you memorized in math, right? Well, math is not a memory subject, but any which ways. You will not remember the formulas, you'll not be able to remember how to use those formulas, right? And that's why a better technique is to space this learning out. Let me show you what this means. On day number 1, first day you learned something. After 1 day, your memory would have gone to 60% or something, right? You come back to it. You do a quick recall of that subject, right? What did you learn? Like half an hour, just spend some time. What did I learn yesterday? Do I still remember it? And quickly your memory will go back to full, right? It'll go back to 100%. And then again, after 3 days, it will come back to like 50%. And then again, you do a quick recall, half an hour, what I learned in maths on this particular chapter. And then your memory will come back to full, right? And this is how just before the exams, your memory will remain really high. Can you see this? Your memory is somewhere closer to 100%, 90%. Whereas in the old case, we are just doing maths completely on Monday and never coming back to maths, your memory has gone down quite a lot. And that is why this plan kind of helps you, because hey, you know what? You are spacing things out. Monday, session 1, I did maths, topic algebra and geometry, let's say. Wednesday, I'll quickly do a recall. Hey, you know what? Quickly, let me in 5-10 minutes remember what did I do in maths, algebra and geometry. Do I still remember things, right? And this will keep on bringing your memory completely back to 100%. And therefore, in your exam, you will have a solid memory of your topics.
So to add to what Ram was saying, that's perfectly right. So this is basically coming under planning. Okay, so the first large bucket we're talking about is planning, right? So we'll come to the second bucket, but the first bucket is planning. Inside planning, the first thing we spoke about is eating your frogs first, right? Basically looking at your weaknesses. The second sort of technique we're talking about is this spaced repetition. To give you more insight, so the common bad way to do this is cramming, which is what I used to do, which is work later study the last 2 days of the exam, right? Like how you saw in that graph. If you do that, your long-term retention is almost zero. You forget it after like 2-3 days, right? It never comes back. But doing this, when you keep spacing out, when you start earlier, when you start a week or 2 weeks earlier, and you space out your learning, right? The chances of it moving to long-term retention is much higher. And therefore, when you're going for the exam, it's much more fresh. So it's a misconception that if you learn just 2 days before the exam, it'll be more fresh. That's not true. What is true is that if you space it out and learn it for 2-3 weeks constantly on a daily basis, that's when it'll be more fresh. That's like the summary of spaced repetition.